Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 3. In here we are gonna present the material about predictive and positive approaches. And in here is our group members. So for the first material I'm gonna explain it is about economic event prediction. Prediction of an economic event is an approach used to anticipate or estimate important economic events that can affect the financial condition or performance of a company. This approach is very important because accounting information can be an approach used to anticipate or estimate important economic events that can affect the financial condition or performance of a company. This approach is very important because accounting information can describe future conditions such as a business, failure, bankruptcy, or changes in profits. Here are some methods used in this approach. Namely, the first one, there is time series analysis. It's a structural methodological approach in which statistical dependence in a set of data can be tested. The past value of a single data set is used to provide direction regarding the future relation of the same data set. Time series analysis research focuses primarily on the time series properties of reported earnings and prediction issues in time series analysis. Then the second, there is distress prediction. The most relevant application of the predictive approach is the attempt made to find empirically validated characteristics that distinguish between companies that are financially distressed and companies that are not. In a Beaver's univariate study, which tested a set of accounting ratios to predict corporate failure, the most important result was the superior predictive power of cash flow to total debts ratio followed by net income to total asset. Then the third, there is prediction of bond premiums and bond ratings. Fisher tested the power of four-factor model to explain differences in the risk premium of the industrial corporate bonds. Namely, the first one, there is Amy's variability, measured by the coefficient of variation of the EAT over the last 9 years. And the second, there is solvency or reliability in meeting obligation, measured by the length of time since the last occurrence of the following events. The third, there is capital structure, measured by the market value of equity or face of value of the firm's debt. Then the fourth, there is the total market of value the firm's of bond. Okay, next, the fourth, there is corporate restructuring behavior. Corporate restructuring behavior includes mechanisms such as mergers, consolidation, acquisition, divestitures, preparation, leverage, buyouts, and spins-off. All of these are done either to maximize the market value of shareholders' equity or to maximize management wealth. The fifth, there is bank credit and lending decision. Bank trading and lending decision are other examples of economic events that can be explained and predicted based on accounting and other financial information. From predictive perspective, research consists of applying or predicting credit judgment or changes in accounting and other financial information. Bank lending decisions have also been the subject of empirical and predictive research. Then last, there is a forecasting financial statement information. Because securities analysts and most forecasting agencies focus on the U.S. environment, management accountants and financial managers of multinational corporations or MNCs may have to base their own efforts on forecasting the earnings of other companies and provide their own earnings forecast. Their choices of techniques may be mechanical or non-mechanical and univariate or multivariate.
Okay, now I will explain about the market approach and external accounting. So the predictive approach provides the adoption of accounting numbers that have the highest link to market prices. This requires evaluating the usefulness of accounting numbers transmitted to capital market transaction viewed as an aggregate. In this case, aggregate means that the focus is on the reaction of the securities market rather than on the individual investors that make up the market. The role of the securities market and information in the securities market justifies the use of market reaction predictions in the formulation of accounting theory. The role of the securities market is to provide an orderly exchange market where investors can exchange claims to present and future consumption on an ongoing basis. And the next is efficient market model. So it is generally assumed that securities markets are efficient. A perfectly efficient market is in continuous equilibrium such that the intrinsic value of the security vibrates randomly and the market price is always equal to the underlying intrinsic value at all times. Intrinsic value is generally recognized as the price that should be and the price that would be given by another individual who has the same information and competence when that person makes the estimate. Okay, the next is the efficient market hypothesis. So by defining an information set RT in three different ways, Fama distinguishes three levels of market efficiency, namely weak, semi-strong, and strong forms. So number one is the weak form of the efficient market hypothesis. The weak form of the efficient market hypothesis states that the equilibrium expected returns or price fully reflect the sequence of past returns or price. The second is the semi-strong form of the efficient market hypothesis. So the semi-strong form of the efficient market hypothesis states that the equilibrium expected returns or price fully reflect all publicly available information. The third strong form of the efficient market hypothesis. So the strong form of the efficient market hypothesis states that the equilibrium expected return or price fully reflects all information, not just publicly available information. Next is capital asset pricing model. So the efficient market hypothesis requires the use of expected returns and indicates that securities are priced correctly. A theory is needed to specify the relationship between expected return and the price of the individual stock being valued, which is Third, Lipner and Mosin capital asset valuating model, relating asset returns to asset risks as follows, like in the PowerPoint, whereas ERIT is expected return of security I in parity, then RFT is return on risk free asset in period 1, then ERMT is expected return on the market portfolio in the period. Then next formula is covariance between RIT and RMT. Then there is variance of returns over the market portfolio. Then the next is risk coefficient. Okay, the next is arbitrage pricing theory. So APT presupposes that the securities return is related to an unknown number of unknown factors. A multi-factor model would take the following form, like in the PowerPoint, and securities will be assessed as follows, like in the PowerPoint too, where RG is the return on the risk-free asset, and BIG is the sensitivity of security I to factor G, and WG is the securities return premium, like the axis of RF of each unit of the security of per factor G. Okay, the next from me is equilibrium theory of option pricing. An option entities a person to purchase or call option or put option a specific number of shares of a specific company from the option maker at a specific price at maturity on a specific date. An equilibrium option valuation model was proposed by Black and Scholes with the following formula like on the PowerPoint with on the PowerPoint 2, where is C is call option price, PS is current stock price, E is exercise price, R is risk-free interest rate or expressed continuously, T is time to maturity in years, S is volatility or standard deviation of log stocks return, and D is standard cumulative normal distribution function or probability under the normal curve up to the value of D.
Okay, the next is about market model. Capital asset valuation models do not provide an easy test for the efficient market hypothesis. Instead, the Markowitz and Sharpe market models are used for this purpose, and you can see the formula in the PPT view. And the next is about beta estimation, estimates of systematic risk or beta best needed for studies that examine the effect of accounting information on the market and the link between beta and accounting-based indicators. Due to potential economic errors in market model estimates, various necessary corrections have been proposed, and you can see the formula in the PPT view. And the next is about event study methodology. There are 7 steps to an event study. The first one is definition of the event. Second one is selection criteria. The third one is normal and abnormal returns. The fourth is estimation procedure. The fifth is testing procedure. The sixth is empirical result. And the last one is interpretation and conclusion. And now about residual income valuation or RIV. Back in 1938, in an article written by Pinchurch, residual income valuation relied on the hypothesis that asset prices reflect the present value of all future dividends. The process of moving from PVIV to RIV is based on 2 assumptions. The first one is the accounting system is assumed to satisfy a net surplus relationship, and the second one is a common condition is assumed when the book value of equity grows at a lower rate than the book value of equity. Feltham-Olshon model or the FO models that relates the market value of a company to basic accounting data and other types of information. This model relies on the following 3 figures and the figures that you can see in the PPT view. Price level balance sheet valuation model. These models focus on the relationship between equity value and book value, and you can see the formula in the PPT view.
In here, I will explain about information content of earning. The information content of earning is generally tested through the relationship between returns on security, such as stock and expected earning. This concept is based on the assumption the capital markets react to new information contained in corporate earning reports, especially when reported earnings differ from market expectation. Unexpected earnings are the difference between the actual earning announced and the earning predicted by analysts or investors beforehand. If actually earnings are higher or lower than expectation, this will affect the market perception of the company value, which is then reflected in change in stock price or securities returns. For the next material about earning persistence. Earning persistence is measured by estimating a series of moving averages and integrating autoregressive or ARIMA model, which represent the real process of a company's earning series to measure the impact of an earning surprise in the current period, will affect future earning flow as a whole. In the other word, earning persistence is the ability of current earning to be maintained or repeated in the next period. So, persistent earning reflects high earning quality
and can be used as an indicator of future earning prediction. The next material about model of the relation between earning and returns. There are two models of the relationship between earning and returns. Model A bases the relationship between returns and earning on the book valuation model. This model estimates how the book value of a company's equity contributes to stock returns and reflects the accumulated capital invested by shareholders and return earning over the company's operating life. And Model B, basing the return and earning relationship on the earning valuation model. This model focuses on the effect of accounting profit on stock returns, especially operating profits, which is considered a key indicator of financial performance that influence investor expectation of the company's prospect. The first one is price and book as a measure of the value of shareholder equity, where PGT is the price per share of firm G at time T, and BVGT is the book value per share of firm G at time T. The second one is accounting earning and security returns can be derived by taking first difference of the variable in equity 1, where AGT is the accounting earning of firm G over the time period T min 1 to T, and DGT is the dividend of firm G over time period T min 1 to T. And the last is the relation between earning and returns is obtained by substituting equation 3 into equation 2 and dividing by BGT min 1. This equation shows that if stock price and book value are related, then earning divided by beginning of period price explain returns. For the next material about company valuation model. Firm valuation models rely on two main types of cash flow, namely A. Free cash flow generated by core asset. This free cash flow reflects the company's ability to generate cash from core operation that is available to all capital providers, both creditor and shareholder. And B is non-operating cash flow generated from non-operating net asset. Non-operating cash flow usually comes from activities that are not directly related to the company's main operation, such as the sale of non-core asset or investment. The next is the cash flow are then distributed to various claims on the companies, namely, the first one is debt claims, which are the company's obligation to creditor. The second one is other capital claims, which can be liabilities or other financial instruments that are not ordinary equity. And the last is ordinary equity claims, which are the right of shareholder as owner of the company. For the next material about evaluation of market-based research and economic. Use theory and evidence related to the efficient market hypothesis and methodology mainly presented by capital asset valuation models, portfolio theory, and market models. The predictive approach stem from the evaluation of accounting numbers and techniques on the basis of capital market reaction. The evidence available for research based in classified in the following categories. The first one is information content studies. This approach is used to test whether the announcement of an event results in a change in the characteristic of the stock return distribution. This study is consistent with the hypothesis that accounting information causes change in equilibrium prices. And the second one is difference in discretionary accounting technique. The concern in the study is the impact of investor difference and change. The issue is whether the market is experienced enough not to be fooled by accounting difference or cosmetic accounting change. And the third one is market impact of accounting regulation. And the last is impact on related discipline. The focus is on the distribution of market-based research in accounting to accounting and related discipline. We will evaluate the research in terms of its evidential implication for financial reporting and in terms of the adequacy of the methodologies employed, such as anomalous evidence with respect to market efficiency, self-selection bias and omitted variables, confounding effects, timing of capital market effect, choice of control group, and behavioral finance. Okay, for the last material is about incomplete disclosure hypothesis, or IRH. IRH formulation is statistical figures that are more expensive to extract from public data will not be fully disclosed by market prices. This linkage is driven by the following causal chain. The first one is statistical figures that are more expensive to extract from publicly available information will encourage lower trading interest. And the second one is statistical figures that induce lower trading interest will not be fully revealed by market prices.
Okay, the next material about the positive approach. For those who adopt anthropologic or inductive positive paradigm, the key issue are current accounting practice and management attitude toward those practices. Proponents of this view argue in general the technique can be developed and justified on the basis of the proven use or that management play a central role in determining the technique to be implemented. And number one, there are the information economy paradigm. The information economy paradigm integrates various models from the discipline to understand the role of information in economic decision making. This model includes there are decision theory model is assesses the value of information by comparing the expected outcome of two alternative systems. And there are syndicate theory model describe a multi-version from making joint decision for uncertain outcome. And there are decision maker informational evaluation model involve information owner delegating action to agent. And there are team theory model individuals act on personal information considering the interests of the team as a whole. And the last, there are demonstratement model focus on how to encourage again to truthfully disclose private information for the benefit of the organization. Okay, next slide, number 2, analytical agency paradigm. The analytical agency paradigm is an approach to agency theory that is mathematical in nature and focus on the relationship between principal and agent. It stems from Coase idea of the nature of the firm and voluntary contract as efficiency solution to conflict of interest. Jensen and McCoy developed this view by referring to the firm as a legal fiction that serves as a vehicle for contract between individuals. Fame later extended this concept to capital market and managerial behavior, seeing the firm as a nexus of contracts. Okay, the next is about accounting theory and evaluation of the positive approach. Positive accounting theory aims to explain and predict the choice of accounting standard used by management by analyzing the comparison of cost and benefit of various accounting procedures in relation to rational individuals such as manager, shareholders, and regulator. This approach assumes that each party seeks to maximize its utility or personal interest, which is closely related to compensation and prosperity. Evaluation of this approach show that positive theory focus on explain the phenomenon that actually occur in accounting practice, not one where is ideal or should happen, as in the normative approach. With this realistic approach, positive theory is considered capable of providing a more concrete understanding of accounting behavior and providing optimism among its supporters. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching and see you.
Okay, that's all the presentation from us. More or less, I apologize. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.